homerjnick here with another update for Diablo 3 Ultimate Evil Edition or Eternal Collection on consoles. Exploits. Let's talk about exploits. You may be aware that Season 10 was the first season to go live on consoles, and when it went live there were numerous exploits. I made videos in the past highlighting these and logging bug reports to Blizzard, and thankfully Blizzard patched most of them out in patch 2.6, which came for Season 11, which only has a few weeks left. There is one final exploit left in Diablo 3 on consoles relating to seasons. Forget non-season, as that is awash with duplicating items and modded gear, and that won't be patched. But this final exploit, if corrected, could mean that Diablo 3 on consoles will be exploit free for Season 12. And given this next season, with patch 2.6.1 containing some pretty significant changes, it's fair to say that it will be an exciting season to be had if all the exploits are indeed eliminated. I'm going to detail the last major exploit for seasons on Diablo 3 in this video, and some ideas on how it could be patched. A lot of players know about the current exploit that's left in the game, and if you have a look at the leaderboards, I'm sure you can agree that it's obvious that some people are using exploits. Without creating a witch hunt, for example, when you've got players like this, who have primals in every slot, then it's clear that the exploits are still being used in the game. And as I say, there is one exploit left in the game that's currently on Season 11. Now, this last exploit, I logged a bug report with Blizzard in the very first week of Season 11. I've refrained from making a video on it until now, near the end of the season, as we don't want to spoil the season for competitive players. But before I detail the exploit, let me make it clear that whilst I talk a lot about exploits in Diablo 3, I am in no way being negative or critical about Diablo 3 or Blizzard. The sole reason why I make these videos is to try and help in any way possible to make them more public, and therefore forcing Blizzard's hands to get them patched. My motivation and passion for doing this is to see the game as best as it can be from the point of view of legit competitive play. I've played this game nearly every day since August 2014 when it was released, so it's fair to say that I'm a big fan of this game. Now, we Diablo 3 players on console do not suffer botting issues or map hacks like Turbo HUD, like our fellow PC players do. Thus, if Blizzard can sort this last exploit out, it means that Diablo 3 on consoles will be in a very good place. And given that at BlizzCon this year, in just under a month, there will be no announcements relating to Diablo 3, it seems fair to assume, in my opinion anyway, that Diablo 3 has had its major content and won't be getting much more. Therefore, the next patch, 2.6.1 for Season 12, well, that seems to be it for me. So if they get the exploits patched, then Diablo 3 on consoles will be in a good place for season upon season. So before I detail the final exploit that's in the game and how it can be patched, let us run through a brief history of the exploits that were in the game and have been fixed over the course of the last two seasons, because some of the fixes that have already occurred, well, they'll be a key to understanding how this last current exploit may get fixed. So, Season 10 went live with patch 2.5.0, and in that patch Blizzard introduced two fixes ready for Season 10 that existed in patch 2.4. When you reforge a legendary in Kanaya's Cube and you close the game down without saving, and you reloaded and you reforged the same legendary, the results would then be the same. Ditto for spending blood shards at Kadala. Now in patch 2.5, if you spent some shards and got some items and you quit without saving and reloaded and respent your blood shards that you got back, you got the same items. So these two fixes were introduced at the start of Season 10 and were very much welcome in patch 2.5. But for Season 10 there was two major exploits that were discovered. Upgrading yellow rare items in Kanaya's cube to legendaries and then reforging them, it produced different results if you quit without saving, reloaded and re-upgraded the items again. Thus players were endlessly upgraded yellow rare items until they got primal weapons or primal gear. The other exploit was that players could duplicate items if they dropped them in the rift or the inn, but they couldn't duplicate items in the town. Those were the two major exploits that were discovered in Season 10 in patch 2.5. So, patch 2.6.0 was released in anticipation for Season 11, and it contained two fixes for the exploits that were in Season 10. So now no longer could you duplicate any items in any location in the game in Seasons. But also interestingly, upgrading yellow rare items to legendaries and reforging now produces the same results if you quit the game without saving and then reload and then do a re-upgrade or reforge. So for instance, if you craft a yellow ring, or if you find a yellow ring in a rift, or you get a yellow ring from Kadala from spending blood shards, and you upgrade one of them in Kanaya's cube to a legendary, and you close the game down without saving, reload and get your 25 death breaths back, and you upgrade the other one of the other yellow rings, you still get the same results. That fix was very much welcome. It means now no matter which yellow item you upgrade, you still get the same results. That fix was key to stopping that being abused and getting primals quicker in Season 11. And that fix is key for the current exploit, which I'm going to mention. So what is this last major exploit left in Season 11 for Diablo 3? Well, reforging different versions of a particular item type produces different results if you quit the game without saving and reload. Now what do I mean by that? Well, instead of waffling on about how to do it, let me demonstrate to you what I mean. So the exploit is reforging different versions of the same item type until you get a primal. So what did I mean? Well, take a note of how many puzzle rings I've got in my inventory. I've got 5 of them. So they're the same item type, puzzle rings, but they're different versions of them. 5 of them, each with their all unique roles. Now take a note of my bounty crafting materials. I have plenty of them to reforge. So what I'm going to do, if we take a note of them, is I'm going to reforge the first puzzle ring 5 times. I'm going to take a note of the results of those 5 reforges. Then I'm going to close the game down. I'm going to reload and I'm going to get my bounty materials back, and then I'm going to reforge the second puzzle ring. Let's see what happens. So let's reforge the first one 5 times. Taking a note of the results. 2, no primal, no ancient. 3, 4. Fourth reforge was an ancient version. And 5. So there we go. Out of 5 reforges on the first puzzle ring, the 4th reforge was an ancient. I'm now going to close the game down, reload, and reforge the second one. Okay, so I quit the game without saving and now reloaded. So if we check my bounty crafting materials, you'll notice it's gone back to what I had before I did the 5 reforges on the first puzzle ring. So what I can now do is reforge the second puzzle ring. And we'll note that as I do this 5 times, that the results are different to the first reforging on the first puzzle ring. I will now not get an ancient with the same role on the fourth reforge. So there's 3. Here's a fourth one. No ancient. 5 reforges on the second puzzle ring, all different results. And so the exploit is that when I reforge that 5 times and close the game down without saving, and if I reforged it again, the results would always be the same. They're set in stone when you reforge. But if I reforge a different version of the same item type, i.e. one of these other puzzle rings, then you get different results. So what that means is I can reforge this one 5 times and close the game down to get my mats back, and then reforge this one 5 times and close the game down and get my mats back, and so forth. And what I can do is note which of these 5 puzzle rings at which reforge produces a primal or an ancient with the roles that I'm looking for. Once I know which puzzle ring produces the results I want, then I can close the game down one more time, and instead of reforging them all, costing me a lot of materials, I can just reforge the one that I know will produce the results that I want. And in this way, you can target getting primals. So think about this in terms of seasonal play. Think about getting a Traveller's Pledge. Most players want a Traveller's Pledge that is ancient, with a socket, and with critical hit chance at 10% and critical hit damage at 100%. That's very hard to get. Even a primal version, extremely hard to get. But what exploiters are doing is over the course of a week or 2 weeks, is as they find different Traveller's Pledges, they're saving them so that they have different versions of them. They then go and get a good amount of bounty crafting materials, let's say enough to reforge 20 times. They can then reforge the first one 20 times and take note of which reforge produces the best results. They then can close the game down, get all that mats back, and reforge their second one 20 times. Note which results are the best, and they can work through them all. If they find a primal on, say, the 4th Traveller's Pledge, with all the rolls that they want, then they can close the game down and just reforge that one to get the primal, because the results stay the same when you reforge the same item. But reforging different versions of the same item type produces different results. So instead of having to spend an inordinate amount of mats to see how these reforge, you can spend your mats and reforge each one and close the game down, looking to see which results, and then just close the game down and reforge the one that you want. That is how people are getting primals in every slot. And that's what's breaking the leaderboards and breaking Season 11. So of course, the problem is twofold. The problem, of course, is closing the game down without saving, and reloading gets your materials back. The second issue is, of course, that each version of the same item type is producing different results when you reforge. So what can be a solution? Well, closing the game down without saving and reloading, well, there's nothing that can be done about that at all. Saves are offline on console for Diablo 3. They're going to stay offline to facilitate couch co-op play, which is the intended audience of Diablo 3 on consoles. You could put in an autosave every time you reforge, forcing the game to save you spending your reforging materials, but then on both PS4 and Xbox One, you have the facility to restore your saves from USB drives or the cloud, so that will not deter exploiters. With offline saves comes ability to close the game down and load the game back up at the point it last saved, not what you last did in the game. So forget about doing anything with auto saves or fixing the ability to reload your save by closing the game down without saving. So what about changing so that you get different results each time you reforge a different version of the same item type? So how could we change it? Well, look at the screen now. This is how it stands now in Season 11 and Patch 2.6. You can see the 5 puzzle rings along the top. You can see that I reforged each one 5 times. As I reforge puzzle ring 1 5 times, I get results 1A, 1B, 1C, 1D and 1E. I then close the game down without saving, and when I reforge puzzle ring number 2, I get different results. Results 2A to 2E. And closing the game down and doing each puzzle ring produces unique results. So as the line underneath states, you've got 5 puzzle rings, each reforged 5 times, means 25 unique reforge results. And those reforge results will always be the same. If I close the game down after reforging puzzle ring 1, and I reforge puzzle ring 1 again, it will always be results 1A to 1E. But doing the second, third and fourth puzzle rings give different results. Thus I could use my bounty materials. Maybe I've only got enough for 5 reforges, but I could still go through all 5 puzzle rings, closing the game down each time, noting which result is the best, and then just doing that puzzle ring. So how could we change it? Well, on this screen, this is how I would fix it. They would expand on the fix that they put in for yellow rares. Remember that no matter which yellow ring, from Kadala, from crafting, from finding in the T13 rift, no matter which one you upgraded in the cube to a legendary, now it produces the same legendary. Well, why not do the same for reforging? No matter which puzzle ring you reforge, you get the same results. Notice now that each puzzle ring has reforged results 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 5 underneath it. So no matter if you reforged puzzle ring 1 5 times, noted the results and closed the game down without saving, and reforged puzzle ring 2, you still get the same results as when you reforged puzzle ring 1. So as the bottom line states, there's 5 puzzle rings, each reforged 5 times, but there's only 5 unique results, not 25 like in the current patch in Season 11 that we have. That's how they could fix it for next season, where the item itself and the different versions of the item type, it doesn't matter which one you reforge, it will always produce the same results. Now, how would that work if you were playing legit and you weren't exploiting? Well, let's take a look. So on this screen, there is no closing the game down without saving. This is legit play, and this is how the fix would work. Let's say we're on puzzle ring 1, and I'm going to reforge puzzle ring 1 twice. So I go in and I reforge it once, and I get reforge result 1 in yellow. Notice that when I do that, it eliminates reforge result 1 from the other puzzle rings. They've got a line through it. You can no longer get that when you reforge those other puzzle rings. So when I reforge puzzle ring 1 a second time, I get the yellow reforge result 2, and that eliminates reforge result 2 in all the other rings. But let's say I therefore, without closing the game down without saving, I stop reforging puzzle ring 1 and I go on to puzzle ring 2. So I reforge puzzle ring 2. Now whilst it's the first time I've reforged puzzle ring 2, notice that the result I get is the red reforge result 3, because I've eliminated results 1 and 2 by reforging puzzle ring 1. So I reforge puzzle ring 2 twice as well, and I get results 3 and 4. And that of course eliminates results 3 and 4 from all the other puzzle rings. So now I've reforged puzzle ring 1 twice, got the results, reforged puzzle ring 2 twice, and I've got enough bounty materials to do one more reforge. You'll notice now that no matter which puzzle ring I choose, I will always get reforge result 5. Because when I reforge one, it eliminates the results in the other. Thus, no matter which puzzle ring I choose to reforge, I will always get the same results. That's how it works in legit play. It works. 5 puzzle rings, each reforged 5 times, I only get 5 unique results. That there stops exploits. It stops somebody, instead of having 5 unique results, 25 unique results, and then they can cherry pick which result gives them the best version of the item they're looking for. So if Blizzard introduced or expanded the yellow rare fix to include reforging different versions of the same item type like I've listed here, then that would cure all exploits of Diablo 3 on consoles for Season 12. So I hope that that is the case, that Blizzard fixed this last remaining exploit so that Season 12 with patch 2.6.1 can be the most fun and enjoyable season to date on consoles. That's the current exploit that's in the game. That's my solution to preventing it and stopping it for the next season. I hope that Blizzard do that, and therefore we can enjoy that Season 12. But I'm homerjnick, and I'm out of here.